Good morning. I've got my matcha here and my chia seeds soaking so that I can have my breakfast chia seed pudding. So I thought in the meantime I'll tell you about today's plan. So we're thinking of going to Hadley, which is about an hour drive away from Cambridge, so that we can go buy Worx, the knitting shop. So the reason why I want to check out Worx is that, first of all, I haven't been in a while. And it's like a really nice shop, and I think they've got a few new things in the shop, or new stocks, so I want to check that out. But also I've noticed in my yarn stash that I have a lot of one ball of something. So I have like one ball of knitting for olive merino in both black and marzipan. They're just kind of like lingering in my stash, and I really wish I could use them up to make like summer tops or something. So I was thinking of basically getting a second ball for each of those, so I could make 2 summer tops out of them, and maybe even grabbing some cotton merino in the color oatmeal, because I have like 3.5 balls in stash that I never ended up using, and it's just like more like 4 balls, but I made a project with 2 balls of cotton merino oatmeal, and then I had to frog it, so I think I've lost a bit of yarn as well from the frogging. I think I want to grab a couple more balls so I can have enough to make a proper t-shirt, because I think 4 balls of cotton merino is that awkward amount where I could make 2 tops out of it, but like, do I want 2 tops in the same color? Not really. I think I'd rather have a t-shirt in cotton merino because that sounds quite nice. Cookie the Knitter recently came out with a pattern called the Gaia Tea, which looks really nice, and I think that will be a perfect contender for my cotton merino and oatmeal, and that requires like 6 balls of that stuff. So yeah, think that would be quite nice. So that's the plan. We're gonna go to Worx, and I think on the way back from Worx we're also going to try looking at some National Trust properties, because me and my partner recently got membership. It's a great way of just kind of discovering new places. I love looking at old houses and old architecture. So, and also National Trust tend to have like nice cafes and gardens in there, so just for that I think it would be a nice stop on the way back from Hadley to Cambridge. Say hi to Chicken and the Highland cow. I'm gonna bring this Berries and Bird Tracks socks that I've been knitting for a very long time. I started a very long time ago. It's a pattern by Yuka, and it's in the book 52 Weeks of Socks Volume 2. It's a shame that I just didn't like come around to finishing these, because these are my second sock and I've only got not that much left. I picked it back up yesterday while I was at the heel flap here. It's a toe-up construction, as apparently most Yuka's patterns are. I've also signed up to Yuka's knit along, the mystery knit along actually. So if I find anything that I like in Worx that could be good for the knit along, then I might grab it as well. The knit along is pretty cool because it only requires like 1 ball of yarn, because it's an ankle sock, so it's quite economical in that sense. So I think I'm gonna bring this in the car today because it's about an hour drive. So since I've already got like a bit of pattern repeat for the cable and then the cuff left, I think that will be enough for today. And yeah, that could be my today's travel knit. Interestingly, the yarn is actually hand dyed by one of the owners at Worx, so it feels quite fitting to be bringing this while on my visit to Worx. It's their sock yarn that you can get as a subscription, or you can buy off some of the staple colorways. They have a collection of colorways that you can buy from the shop, and then you can also have some special colorways that are only made for the monthly subscription, which I used to be on. So this was the first colorway that I ever got. It was a March 2024 colorway, and I remember saying that it reminded me of dandelions. So here's what I'm bringing to the yarn shop so I can color match properly. This is knitting for olive merino leftover from my friend's black cable cardigan in the color licorice. I think this will be okay because it's just black, right? So I think any other ball of this that I get will be a good color match. The ones I'm worried about are these two. So this is knitting for olive merino as well in the color marzipan. I'm worried about dye lot issues. This one's a full ball and like maybe 5 extra grams that are left over from when I knitted my camisole number 5. And then this is the knitting for olive cotton merino. This I'm extra worried about because I think cotton merino, they've changed the way they make them quite like fairly recently, a year ago, and I bought this 2 years ago. So it could just be that the oatmeal colorway does not look like this anymore. So that's a slight worry. If I can't find a good color match, it's okay. I'll make do with whatever I have left. And I'm also bringing this, which is a 2-part leftover. So I have this stuff 2 times left over from when I knitted some cable mittens for my partner's sister. So basically I have about 44 grams together with the other ball. So I feel like I could grab another skein of this colorway. I think it was Filcolana Arvet in the color ice blue, and that would mean that I can make a full sock out of these. And today, since I'm going to Yarn Worx, I decided I'll wear my petal drop socks, which are knitted up in the April 2024 colorway of the Market Town Yarns sock subscription thing. I thought that would be quite fitting as well. I've got my knitting, cardigan, notions, pouch thing, keys, cards, all my yarns here, water bottle, and it's all in my beautiful knitted tote bag, which, I mean, is it okay to go to a yarn shop with another yarn shop's tote bag? I felt guilty, so I'm changing to the Yarn Worx tote bag instead of the beautiful Nature's one. I'm gonna go to Yarn Worx, so I should use my Yarn Worx tote bag. I'm taking a tote bag just in case I need to bring back from shopping. Alright, ready to go!
The song about getting all in the rain.
We finally back from Yarn Worx and the National Trust Melford Hall. Super nice. I'm on the cuff bit of my socks now. I've made quite a bit of progress on the car. When we started the drive, I was around here, so I've done all this. I think I'm just gonna cast this off now. Then I have a bit of time in the afternoon before we have some dinner plans with Michael's brothers.
That's not true. I've already spent like 40% of my month's paycheck. I got paid yesterday. I've already spent most of the money. I'm not paying for it. No, what are you saying?
So I was originally going to do the Yarn Worx haul in the National Trust Melford Hall gardens because I thought it would be quite a nice scenery. But then it started pouring it down right as I was about to film. So I'm going to do my little yarn haul here in the comfort of my own home. So I think I mentioned that my initial purpose for the trip was to match up some single balls of knitting for olive yarns that I had in my stash so that I could make up like summer tops and whatnot. So first of all, for the black knitting for olive merino in the color licorice, it was pretty easy because I think you can match black dye pretty easily. There was no problem there. So now I have one ball of 50 grams and then this other one is 44 grams. I think I can get away with just these two to make another mixed rib cami or maybe a mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Design. So that's the plan for that. The problem we had was that there was actually quite a lot of dye lot issues where two colors from different dye lots do look quite different. So, oh, I forgot to show the little bag, which is really cute. I don't know if it's gonna show on camera. I think you can tell. So this is my knitting for olive merino in the color marzipan, and this is the newer dye lot because I bought this 2 years ago roughly. And you can tell that this is a lot more pinkish, whereas this is more of like a yellow undertone. Because they're different dye lots, so I can't use them held single to make up a top, but I can use them held double to do an Oslo hat. And I think this color is a really nice neutral color that it will be great to have a hat in this marzipan colorway. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make an Oslo hat. So I know that the Oslo hat pattern instructions actually ask for a longer meterage, but that's the version where you do the Oslo hat quite long. And since then, a lot of people have knitted the Oslo hat much shorter than what is written out on the pattern to make a more fitted hat. Because I think the original has a bit more like airspace. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it's a bit longer, so it kind of sits above your head a bit more. Whereas people who have shortened it have made it so that basically it fits around your head like perfectly. So that's what I've been doing for all three Oslo hats that I've knit so far for friends and family, and I'm finally going to knit myself one as well in this colorway. And I think that would be a great way of using up this one ball of knitting for olive merino that I had left since I knitted my camisole number 5, which was a year and a half ago, I think. Now for the cotton merino that I had in my stash, so I had 4 balls of cotton merino, which I don't think is enough to make something meaningful. It's too much for a top, not enough for a t-shirt. And so I wanted to get maybe like a 5th or 6th ball. And I did find the cotton merino in oatmeal in the same dye lot as the one I already had. So that was a lucky coincidence. I think it's happened because they haven't, at Yarn Worx, they told me that they haven't restocked cotton merino. So I think it was quite likely that they still had the old stock, which would have been the same dye lot as one that I bought, which was from quite a while ago as well. For the Filcolana Arvetta, this is the color ice blue. I think the number is 340. I did not find a good color match, and I wasn't gonna like do another Oslo hat in this color. All the new dye lots for this colorway looked more blue toned, whereas this had like a hint of a yellow undertone for this dye lot. So basically in my stash I currently have like this half hank and another half hank that make up roughly 45 grams. So I think I'll just keep that. And I also have another yarn, a white sock yarn, can't remember the name exactly or the brand. But I also have like just 50 grams of that. So I think together they make up 100 grams of sock yarn, and I feel like I could do some interesting colored socks with those. So I'm just going to keep this as it is and use them as socks with the other sock yarn that is left over. And then while I was at the shop, I was also thinking that I remembered my mom had requested a Christmas gift that is handmade. So we looked at some patterns together when she was visiting me a few weeks ago, and we landed on the blouse number 1. And she decided that she'd want her blouse number 1 in like a nice soft gray, light gray color. Now, unfortunately, there weren't enough of the different like gray colors of knitting folded pure silk and knitting folded merino at Yarn Worx, but I did find enough of the soft blue, which I quite like because it's kind of gray in some lights and like blue and light blue in others. So I think this will be a color that my mom will enjoy as well. So basically, the blouse number 1 asks for pure silk only, but I've kind of followed what Handmade by Florence is doing, where she's holding it with knitting folded merino and knitting folded pure silk. She mentioned this in one of her knitting podcast episodes. So I bought 4 balls of the merino and 4 balls of the pure silk to knit a size M for my mum. And then last but not least, I also bought these Highland Cow needle stoppers, which is so cute. I have like needle stoppers of cats from the same brand that I also bought from Yarn Worx. I think they're cats that are playing with yarn balls. Anyway, we have a bit of an animal theme going on. And I love Highland cows, and I have a Highland cow stuffed toy as well at home. So yeah, that was my little Yarn Worx yarn haul. Good afternoon, you guys. So today is Sunday. We just started the day with a nice big shop at Tesco's, which we usually do a weekly shop on Sunday morning with Michael's brother as well. So I've just had my lunch and now I just filmed some updates for the project vlog that I'm filming for this ivy top. And so I think by the time this comes out, the project vlog would have come out before. Please do check it out if you're interested in seeing how the process of knitting up this top was like. Now, in terms of the other knitting stuff that I've been up to this weekend, so right now I'm just gonna cast off this pair of socks. So last night I was almost done with the half twisted rib that you have at the cuff here, but it got a bit too late, and I just wanted to cast this off in daylight for this video, as well as having like the whole process of blocking it and stuff. So I'm just going to do that right now because I'm already on the last row of the ribbing. For the other sock, the instructions on Yuka's pattern was technically for like a stretchy bind off, but I didn't really like the idea of having the edge of the bind off be like not in ribbing when you could, because you're doing it toe up. So I did an Italian bind off, not too tightly for this sock, and it actually looks really nice. It looks like really professionally finished, just like, you know, you would for cuffs of the sleeves when you're knitting a cardigan or a jumper. So I think this looks quite nice. So I'm going to do the same on the other sock just to match. And yeah, just remember not to the Italian bind off too tight, otherwise my socks won't fit over my heels. This one definitely does fit over my foot, so it's all good. Right, let's cast this stuff off. we're done. All right, let's go block these socks. Right, I'm gonna let those socks soak in the water for 15 minutes, I think. And in the meantime, I thought we could do something fun with my gauge swatches. Right, you might have noticed that in some of my videos, you can see these gauge swatch buntings. Hi, Mish. And so since I have quite a stack of knitting swatches now on top of these in the form of this stack, I was thinking that I could make more buntings to go right along here actually. To make the bunting, I used this twine cord along with a tapestry needle that I thread this through the different corners of the little swatch. After threading the cord into the tapestry needle, I first do this little knot here at the end, and that's gonna serve as what's gonna be latched onto the different hooks on the ceiling. There we go. So I'm just gonna cut the excess off here. Then I'm gonna roughly estimate how much length I need. About, you know, arm's length should do. And then this is where I'm gonna start putting it through the gauge swatches. So I put it into one of the corners of the gauge swatch, just like this. And then I actually do a little knot with the cord at the end so that this stays in place, and then it makes it easier to space them out evenly.
Alright, what if we put it over there instead?
Now, when you get to the end, you also do another little loop here. Mine's tiny because I only have a little bit of string left. I like this because it reminds me of the projects that I've done in the past. It's like a nice way of remembering. So cute.
Sounds?
Yes, I know.
What about sound?
Okay, so I'm all done preparing dinner for tonight, which is a red wine beef stew. So it's gonna be in the oven at a low temperature for maybe 4 hours or something. Anyway, until dinner time basically. So right now it's 2:30, and I think I will check in it in 2 hours and then leave it to be for 2 more hours so that we can get a nice slow roasted beef brisket. Right, so now I think I'm just gonna go on a run. Actually, I need to get back into running because I've signed myself up for the Cambridge Town and Gown 10k as like my first race since those 2 half marathons that I did back in the spring. I haven't really been running since those, and so this is a way of me getting back into running basically. Ready for my run. Wow. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Wow. So remember the socks that I was knitting in the car this morning on the way to the shops? I'm thinking that actually getting close to the bit where I might start the toe decreases. These are the socks for my partner's birthday, which are quite a late gift. Anyway, back in Christmas last year, my brother got me this sock ruler tool, which is super useful because not only has it got like this ruler just to check how long your sock is, but it's got a conversion into European shoe sizes. It also says at which foot length you need to start doing the toe decreases, because it includes a 4.5 centimeter like wedge toe allowance plus the whatever it is, like 2 centimeters of negative ease that you're supposed to have on the foot length. So it's a super useful tool, and you've got the EU shoe sizes as well as the US and the UK shoe sizes for conversions as well. So I'm just gonna put this on the sock. So the way it works is you just put it all the way up to the beginning of the gusset, and then my partner's shoe size is 42.5 EU size. I'm still missing a couple of centimeters to get up to here, let's say. This is called the sheepiest sock roller, centimeters and inches, and I think it's like 12 euros or something like that. But yeah, super useful. And you can even go as far as writing down like different people that you typically gift knit socks to, that you could write down their name on the size chart, so you remember every time like what size foot they have. So like you could put your mom and dad and stuff like that.
Going undercover on sting operations and making busts all in time to get home and help the kids with homework. Check this out. Oh my God.
You pause it the most interesting bit.